This forest warden's very thorough. He's felling hundreds of trees covering a southern slope below the village of Eischoll in Valais. And that's only a fraction of the area that will be cleared in Upper Valais this year.
We're trying to push the woods back over about 50 hectares to expose the whole area. The entire area we're clearing is about 4 times that.
Forests in Switzerland are growing and growing. In Valais, the growth rate is about 1,000 hectares per year. Averaged out, this would be the size of 3 football pitches per day. This photo from the village of Niederwald in Goms was taken in 1970. 42 years later, there's a forest where flowers once bloomed. In the 80s, it was feared that large tracts of woodland were going to die out, or that Switzerland could even lose its forests altogether. This was due to threats from acid rain and the bark beetle. But 30 years on, trees are being felled because there are simply too many of them.
The discussion about the woods dying out had a positive effect. It led to the passing of new environmental protection laws, which cut fuel emissions. So the quality of the air is better these days, and the woods were able to recover. Now we're cutting back the forests in specific places. The problem is that inaccessible fields are no longer being cultivated, so the trees grow everywhere.
Forest engineer Mathias Hutter is leading the deforestation project in Upper Valais. Until 40 years ago, mountain farmers kept meadows here for hay. Now it's covered with trees. And with this forest expansion, a number of different types of plants, birds, butterflies and reptiles have disappeared.
When the forest closes in, it creates a lot of shade, promoting the growth of new species. But we also have to try to keep the types of species you find in open spaces in order to preserve biodiversity.
Local farmers are expected to maintain these areas. In Eischoll, farmer Brunner is helping with the deforestation and has promised to maintain pastures over the next 20 years. In springtime, he'll irrigate the deforested areas and then he'll regularly cut the grass.
The area is quite accessible, so no problem bringing up a machine here. It's not like in the old days when we had to do everything by hand. It's a good thing. I believe we have to win back areas like this. We shouldn't let them become overgrown so that you've suddenly got trees or thorn bushes growing through your kitchen window.
In the long run, farmers will be in charge of cultivating these new meadows across the country. There's a debate over whether they should receive direct subsidies for this work. Meanwhile, Brunner will have to be content with the fresh hay he reaps from his reclaimed meadows. Animals and plants that were forced out by the forests will now have a new habitat in Switzerland.